Ancient engineers created technology that rivals our modern machinery. We are exploring 25 lost civilizations whose advanced inventions still confuse archaeologists today. By the end, you will understand how ancient societies achieved what we once considered impossible. How did civilizations move 80-ton stones without wheels? And why did societies with running water and complex cities vanish so completely? What does true technological advancement actually look like across the sweep of human history? Streets laid out in perfect grids, homes with indoor plumbing, and a city-wide drainage system that rivals modern engineering. This was the reality in the Indus Valley over 4,000 years ago. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were marvels of urban planning, constructed with a foresight that is breathtaking even today. Every brick, from one house to the next, conformed to a strict standard, a uniformity that stretched across hundreds of miles of territory. Their system of weights and measures was so precise that a merchant in one city could trade with a merchant in another, confident in the fairness of the transaction. This points to a remarkable level of organization, a shared cultural blueprint that governed everything from city layout to commerce. Yet the people who built these metropolises left behind no palaces for mighty kings, no grand monuments to their rulers. Their power structure remains one of history's great enigmas. How did they coordinate such a vast, standardized civilization without leaving clear evidence of a central emperor or a standing army? The answer might be locked within the strange, undeciphered symbols found on their seals and pottery. This Indus script, a collection of intricate pictographs, has resisted all attempts at translation. Were these symbols a written language, or perhaps a system of proto-writing for recording trade and administration? Without the ability to read their words, we can only observe the incredible results of their collective genius, from sophisticated water management that prevented floods to a society that prioritized public health for all its citizens. Their silent cities stand as a testament to a different kind of advancement, one built not on conquest, but on impeccable organization and communal well-being. This mastery of urban living on a grand scale finds a strange parallel in another part of the ancient world, where a different civilization achieved the impossible by moving mountains, or more accurately, moving mountains of stone. Deep within the desert canyon, the rose-red city of Petra stands as a monument to human ingenuity against the elements. The Nabateans did not just build a city, they sculpted it from the living rock of Jordan's mountains, an achievement that required more than just artistic vision. It demanded a profound understanding of a harsh and unforgiving environment. Their true genius lay not only in the breathtaking facades of the treasury or the monastery, but in an invisible network of survival carved beneath the earth. In a region where water was more precious than gold, they engineered a hydraulic marvel. They channeled every drop of scarce rainfall through a complex system of dams, canals, and terracotta pipes, diverting destructive flash floods into vast underground cisterns. This intricate water management system supported a population of thousands, transforming a barren desert crossroads into a thriving oasis of trade and culture. The sheer precision of their rock-cut architecture presents its own enduring puzzle. How did they carve such elaborate, multi-story tombs directly into vertical cliff faces with such flawless symmetry? The famous treasury was sculpted from the top down, a method that defies conventional understanding of construction, as building scaffolding against a smooth, towering rock face seems nearly impossible. Their mastery over both water and stone created a legacy so advanced that modern hydrologists study their ancient methods for solutions to today's water scarcity challenges. From a civilization that made the desert bloom, we journey to one that carved its own paradise from a very different but equally formidable landscape. Wander through the labyrinthine corridors of the Palace of Knossos, a multi-story complex so advanced it feels anachronistic. The Minoans of Crete engineered a world of comfort that would not be seen again for over 1,000 years. Light wells carved into the architecture funneled sunshine deep into the palace, creating bright and airy living spaces, while a sophisticated network of terracotta pipes provided running water and even flush toilets. Their genius, however, extended far beyond mere luxury. Living in a seismically active region, they constructed their palaces to survive. They employed flexible wooden frameworks within stone walls and used strategic building techniques that allowed structures to sway and absorb the energy of frequent earthquakes, a profound application of ancient anti-seismic engineering. Perhaps their most tantalizing artifact is the Phaistos disk, a clay circle covered in stamped symbols arranged in a tight spiral. This artifact is not hand-carved, but pressed using seals, making it one of the earliest examples of movable type printing in human history. Yet, the message it was meant to convey remains a complete mystery, its purpose and language lost to time. This same innovative spirit propelled their ships across the Mediterranean. Their maritime technology and advanced navigation methods established a thalassocracy, a sea empire with trade networks that stretched for thousands of miles, making them a dominant naval power. The abrupt end of their civilization, likely triggered by the colossal eruption of the Thera volcano, adds a profound layer of mystery. How could such widespread and sophisticated knowledge, from earthquake-resistant architecture to complex plumbing, vanish so completely from the historical record? The silent, elegant ruins of Knossos stand as a haunting reminder of how fragile even the most advanced societies can be. This pursuit of architectural perfection against immense natural forces finds a stunning parallel across the ocean, where another civilization mastered the art of shaping stone with impossible precision. Gaze upon the Gate of the Sun, a monolithic archway carved from a single 10-ton block of stone. This is the legacy of the Tiwanaku, a civilization that flourished in the high plains of Bolivia. The gate is not merely a monument, it is a complex astronomical calendar, its intricate carvings mapping celestial cycles with a precision that rivals modern instruments. But the stone itself presents the first great puzzle. How did they achieve such flawless, razor-sharp carvings in andesite, a rock harder than granite, using only stone tools? The mystery only deepens when you examine the walls of their sacred city. Enormous blocks, some weighing over 130 tons, are locked together with an impossible seamlessness. The joints are so tight that not even the thinnest blade can find a purchase, a feat of engineering that defies logical explanation for its time. This mastery over stone suggests a level of geometric and mathematical understanding that we are only beginning to comprehend. At the nearby Pumapunku complex, the enigma intensifies. The site is a scattering of shattered grandeur, filled with H-shaped blocks that look less like ancient ruins and more like components from a giant prehistoric construction kit. Each stone is cut with identical, precision-made notches and grooves, as if produced on an assembly line. This points to a system of standardized manufacturing, a concept of prefabrication that should not exist in a civilization without the wheel or draft animals. The very ground seems to hold echoes of their knowledge. Certain platforms and structures possess unusual acoustic properties, where a single footstep or spoken word can create strange, amplified sounds, suggesting the Tiwanaku architects understood the physics of sound and may have used it in their ceremonial practices. To stand among these ruins is to confront a profound question. How did a people working at an altitude that leaves modern visitors breathless move mountains of stone and encode the movements of the stars into their architecture, only to vanish and leave behind such cryptic, brilliant clues? As we contemplate these South American mysteries, we cross the ocean to examine a civilization that also built its legacy in perfect alignment with the cosmos. Beneath the Mediterranean sun, the islands of Malta hold silent temples built from limestone blocks so massive their very presence defies logic. The structures of Haga Kim and Mnajdra were raised over 1,000 years before the Great Pyramid of Giza was even a concept. Their architects arranged these 20-ton stones with a celestial precision that still marks the changing seasons. On the equinoxes, the rising sun casts a beam of light that travels through a specific aperture, illuminating the central axis of the temple with exacting accuracy. This was not crude monument building, it was a complex stone calendar engineered by a people with a profound connection to the cosmos. The mystery of their methods is rivaled only by the enigma of the cart ruts. Across the Maltese landscape, deep parallel grooves are carved directly into the bedrock, weaving in impossible patterns and even diving off cliffs into the sea. They are not random erosion, but a deliberate network etched with purpose. Were they created by sleds transporting those colossal temple stones, or do they represent something else entirely, a form of ancient technology or land use we no longer understand? The answer is lost to time. Deeper still lies the hypogeum of Hal Saflieni, an astonishing underground sanctuary carved 3 stories down into the living rock. This was not a mere cave, but a multi-level architectural feat of chambers, halls, and passages, all engineered with a sophisticated understanding of structural support. Within its depths, sound behaves in extraordinary ways. Specific chambers are designed to resonate at certain frequencies, where a voice spoken in one room can be heard clearly throughout the complex, while other sounds are completely muted. This mastery of acoustics suggests the space was used for rituals or oracles, a place where sound itself was harnessed as a tool of spiritual practice. Above ground, their temple designs reveal a civilization thinking centuries ahead of its time. They engineered corbelled roofs, where each successive layer of stone slightly overlapped the one below, distributing immense weight and creating stable, enclosed spaces without the use of arches. The mathematical planning required for such complex, curvilinear structures speaks to an advanced and systematic approach to construction. Then, around 2,500 years before the Common Era, this vibrant, innovative society vanished. The temples fell silent, the cart ruts were abandoned, and their profound knowledge of astronomy, engineering, and acoustics seemingly evaporated from the islands. How does a civilization capable of such wonders simply disappear, leaving behind only stone questions? This theme of a brilliant society facing the desert's challenge finds a powerful echo in another part of the world, where a different people performed their own miracles of survival. The silence of the Sahara holds a secret that redefines our understanding of civilization's limits. In the heart of what is now the Libyan desert, the Garamantes did not just survive, they engineered an empire from sand and water. Their most astonishing achievement lay hidden beneath the surface, a labyrinth of tunnels known as fagaras. This was not a simple well system, but a vast subterranean network stretching for nearly 600 miles, engineered to tap into ancient fossil water aquifers that had been sealed underground for millennia. Imagine the scale, carving channels by hand through rock and earth, some descending to depths equivalent to a 16-story building, all to bring life to the surface. This hydrological marvel transformed the desert into a breadbasket, supporting agriculture and sustaining populations in a place where survival itself seemed like a fantasy. Their capital cities rose from the sands as fortified metropolises with multi-story buildings and urban planning that rivaled the great Roman cities of the era. But their genius extended beyond just finding water. It was in managing it with a sophistication that feels almost modern. They developed sophisticated water-lifting devices and intricate filtration systems to maintain purity across their vast network, a testament to their deep understanding of hydraulic engineering. Archaeological finds have further shattered old assumptions, revealing a society skilled in advanced metalworking, from functional iron production to the creation of exquisite jewelry. This was not a primitive desert culture, it was a technological powerhouse. Their story, however, carries a sobering lesson for our own time. Around the 7th century, their civilization faded. The prevailing theory suggests they faced the ultimate consequence of resource dependency, as their ancient aquifers, which had taken thousands of years to fill, were gradually depleted. Their rise was a triumph of human ingenuity over nature, but their decline stands as a timeless reminder of the delicate balance between innovation and sustainability. From a civilization that mastered the hidden waters of the desert, we now turn to one that performed an equally breathtaking feat, carving entire cities from the living rock of mountainous cliffs. Machu Picchu clings to the Andean peaks, a city woven into the clouds that has withstood centuries of violent tremors. Its survival hinges on an architectural secret locked within the stonework itself. The Inca did not use mortar. Instead, they mastered a technique of cutting polygonal blocks with such intricate, interlocking precision that each stone grips its neighbor in a complex geometric embrace. During an earthquake, these walls do not crack and crumble. They sway and shift, the stones literally dancing in place before settling back into perfect alignment once the ground grows still. This was engineering that worked with the forces of nature rather than against them, a living architecture that modern builders still struggle to replicate. This genius for integration extended far beyond a single city, connecting an empire larger than any in the ancient world. Their road system was a monumental achievement of logistics, a web of highways and trails spanning over 25,000 miles across jagged mountain passes and deep river gorges. They built suspension bridges woven from native grasses, capable of supporting entire processions across dizzying chasms, and carved stairways directly into cliff faces, overcoming terrain that would challenge modern engineers. To feed the populations connected by these roads, the Inca transformed mountainsides into fertile fields. Their agricultural terraces were not simple steps cut into a hill. They were complex, multi-layered systems with deep gravel bases for drainage, carefully selected soils, and strategic orientations that created distinct microclimates. This allowed them to grow a stunning variety of crops at altitudes where farming should have been impossible, turning the Andes into a vertical breadbasket. Yet, how did they administer such a vast and varied empire without a conventional writing system? The answer may lie in the enigmatic quipu. These collections of knotted strings, varying in color, spin, and knot placement, were long thought to be simple accounting tools. But recent research suggests they could encode narratives, histories, and laws, potentially representing a three-dimensional, tactile language unlike any other in human history. We are only now beginning to decipher their complex code. Their deep connection to their environment is perhaps most visible in their celestial observations. At sites like Machu Picchu, perfectly aligned windows and carefully positioned stones frame the sun during solstices, turning entire buildings into sophisticated astronomical calendars. From these mountain citadels that touch the sky, we now journey into the dense, green heart of the jungle, where other civilizations forged their own intricate worlds against equally formidable odds. The geometric perfection of Angkor Wat rises from the Cambodian jungle, a stone universe built to mirror the heavens. This sprawling complex is far more than a collection of temples. It is a breathtakingly precise cosmological model. Its central towers represent the mythical home of the gods, while its vast moat symbolizes the cosmic ocean at the edge of the world. The entire structure is aligned with such celestial accuracy that during the spring equinox, the sun rises directly over its central pinnacle, a deliberate architectural feat that connected the earthly kingdom to the divine order. This profound understanding of astronomy was matched only by their mastery over a more elemental force, water. The Khmer Empire was a hydraulic civilization of staggering ambition. They engineered an intricate network of reservoirs, canals, and moats that transformed the landscape into a managed watershed. The Barre reservoirs were their crowning achievement, artificial lakes covering thousands of acres that acted as massive rainwater harvesters and distribution hubs. This system did more than prevent floods and store water for the dry season. It supported an urban population approaching 1 million people, a scale unparalleled in the pre-industrial world. The mathematical genius of the Khmer extends deep into their stonework. The proportions of their temples are not arbitrary. They are based on complex geometric patterns and sacred ratios that create a sense of harmony and grandeur. The very layout of their cities reflects a sophisticated understanding of spatial relationships, turning urban planning into a form of high art. Their military prowess, depicted in intricate bas-reliefs that line the temple walls, reveals another layer of their advancement. These carvings show sophisticated siege engines, advanced crossbow technology, and powerful naval vessels that patrolled the Tonle Sap Lake, enabling their vast territorial expansion. Yet, for all its glory, the great city of Angkor was largely abandoned by the 15th century. The reasons remain a subject of intense study, with research suggesting a combination of factors including shifts in regional trade routes and religious changes, as well as the immense challenge of maintaining their vast water network through periods of environmental fluctuation. The silent, magnificent ruins stand as a powerful reminder that even the most brilliantly engineered societies must navigate the complex currents of history and nature. From this jungle metropolis that mastered water, we journey to a civilization that performed its own miracles of survival in the world's most arid deserts. The great houses of Chaco Canyon rise from the desert floor like ancient stone calendars, their walls aligned not just to the sun, but to the far more complex and subtle dance of the moon. This was not a haphazard settlement, but a ceremonial center of breathtaking astronomical precision, planned across generations. At Pueblo Bonito, a semicircular complex of over 600 rooms, the architecture itself is a celestial map. Specific walls and windows are positioned to capture the slivers of light marking the solstices and equinoxes, while other alignments track the moon's 18.6-year cycle, a feat of observation that required centuries of dedicated record-keeping. How did a society without written records, as we know them, encode such long-term cosmic knowledge into their very buildings? The answer might be in the petroglyphs carved into the canyon walls, spirals and symbols that likely served as both ritual art and astronomical aids, a library in stone. Their ambition extended far beyond the canyon's rim. A network of roads engineered to remain perfectly straight for miles radiates outward across the brutal desert terrain. These were not mere footpaths. Some avenues are 30 feet wide, cut through bedrock and bordered by low stone curbs, connecting distant communities to the central canyon. The purpose of these expansive roads is a puzzle, as they seem to defy practical travel needs in such a sparse landscape. They carried no wheeled carts and saw little everyday foot traffic. Researchers suggest they were sacred pathways, ceremonial conduits that physically and spiritually linked a scattered people to their cosmological heart. This connection was reinforced by a staggering economic reach. Recent analysis of turquoise artifacts has traced a trade network spanning thousands of miles, from the mines of the American Southwest to communities as far away as Central America. Chaco was not an isolated outpost, but a vibrant hub in a continent-wide exchange of goods and ideas. Then, around the middle of the 12th century, the intricate social and ceremonial life of Chaco Canyon ceased. The great houses were meticulously sealed and abandoned. This was not a sudden collapse, but a deliberate, organized departure. The leading theory points to a prolonged period of environmental hardship, a series of severe droughts that would have strained the delicate balance of life in the high desert. The very concentration of population that made Chaco a brilliant ceremonial center may have made it unsustainable when the climate shifted. The people did not vanish, however. They likely migrated to new lands, their knowledge and traditions dispersing and evolving into the Pueblo cultures that thrive in the region today. The silent canyon stands as a profound lesson in the relationship between human ambition and the environment, a reminder that even the most spiritually and astronomically advanced societies must navigate the realities of their world. From the high deserts of North America, we now journey to the African continent, where another civilization carved its own impossible dream from a mountain of stone. The Nubian pyramids of Mara stand as silent, sharp-angled sentinels against the desert sky, a bold architectural statement from a kingdom that rivaled Egypt itself. While inspired by their northern neighbors, the Kingdom of Kush developed a style entirely its own, building these steep-sided structures as tombs for their royalty. But their legacy is built on far more than stone monuments. The true engine of their power was iron. The remains of Mara reveal a landscape transformed by industry, with enormous mounds of slag, the waste from smelting, standing as stark evidence of production on an almost industrial scale. This massive output of high-quality tools and weapons earned the city its modern nickname, the Birmingham of Africa, marking it as a pre-industrial technological hub of immense importance. To sustain such a large urban and industrial population in an arid region, the Kushites engineered a hydraulic miracle along the Nile. They mastered the art of water lifting with the Sakya, a large, animal-powered water wheel that could raise water from the river to canals and fields with relentless efficiency. This technology, combined with an extensive network of irrigation channels, turned swaths of desert into productive agricultural land, fueling their society's growth and prosperity. Their advancements extended into the most intimate area of human life, health. Archaeologists studying remains have uncovered evidence of remarkable medical practices, including successful skull surgery where individuals showed clear signs of long-term healing. This points to a sophisticated understanding of surgical procedures and post-operative care that allowed people to survive such complex interventions. The kingdom was also a literate society, yet one that still guards its secrets closely. They developed their own script known as Meroitic, which adorns their monuments and administrative records. While scholars can sound out the words, the meaning of most of the language remains just out of reach, a locked door to their laws, literature, and daily life. This cultural and technological confidence translated into formidable military might. The Kushites were not merely a client state to the great empires, they were a powerful rival. They successfully resisted Roman expansion and, in a stunning display of strength, even sacked the Egyptian city of Thebes, proving their military organization and technology could challenge the greatest powers of the Mediterranean world. From this powerful kingdom that forged its destiny along the Nile, Our journey takes us across the oceans to a civilization that performed an equally breathtaking feat, transforming entire islands into a vast, interconnected network of floating gardens and waterways. On a remote island surrounded by a vast ocean, the stone giants of Rapa Nui stand in silent testimony to a civilization that achieved the impossible. The moai, some weighing over 80 tons, were not quarried where they stand. They were carved from volcanic rock high on a mountain slope and then transported for miles across rugged terrain, a feat accomplished without the wheel, without draft animals, and on an island with limited timber. The method remains one of archaeology's most passionate debates, with theories ranging from a rocking, walking motion to the use of sophisticated sledges and lubricated paths. This was more than a display of raw power. It was a triumph of communal logistics and engineering genius. Their deep connection to their environment is visible not in the statues alone, but across the entire landscape. They practiced a form of sustainable agriculture, building thousands of circular stone enclosures called manavai. These walls created protective microclimates, shielding crops from harsh winds and conserving moisture, turning challenging soil into productive gardens. This reveals a society that was acutely aware of ecological constraints and engineered sophisticated solutions to overcome them. Another profound mystery lies in the Rongorongo script. Carved onto wooden tablets, this system of glyphs is one of the few in history believed to have been invented entirely independently, yet its meaning is completely lost. The elegant symbols of fish, birds, and geometric shapes could hold the history, myths, and laws of the Rapa Nui people, a library of knowledge we can see but cannot read. Their spiritual world was equally complex and physically demanding. The annual birdman competition was a test of courage, faith, and profound knowledge. Participants would descend sheer sea cliffs, swim through shark-infested waters using only small reed boats, and navigate powerful ocean currents to reach a distant islet. There, they would await the arrival of migratory birds, with the first to retrieve a sacred egg securing prestige for his clan for the coming year. This ritual required an intimate, generational understanding of the sea, weather patterns, and climbing techniques that bordered on the superhuman. Back on the mainland, the Ahu platforms that support the moai are marvels of precision engineering. These were not simple stone foundations. They were carefully aligned ceremonial centers. Many are positioned to mark the solstices and equinoxes, turning the entire coastline into a vast astronomical observatory that connected the people to the cycles of the cosmos. The story of Rapa Nui, however, carries a sobering lesson. The civilization that achieved such wonders faced a period of profound hardship. A combination of factors, including the environmental impact of forest clearing and the arrival of outside influences to which they had no immunity, led to a tragic population decline. Their history stands as a powerful, enduring study of the delicate balance between human innovation and the sustainable management of an island's fragile resources. From this isolated Pacific civilization, we now turn our gaze to the cradle of civilization itself, where the sands of the Middle East conceal the secrets of a people whose origins are as mysterious as their disappearance. The wealth of the Sabaean kingdom was literally carved from the desert itself. At the heart of their prosperity stood the Marib Dam, a colossal feat of engineering that tamed the violent, seasonal floods rushing down from the mountains. For over 1,000 years, this massive earthen structure, reinforced with stone and equipped with sophisticated sluice gates, transformed an arid landscape into a fertile paradise. Its intricate network of distribution channels directed life-giving water to vast fields of crops, sustaining a civilization where none should logically exist. This was not a simple wall, it was the very engine of their economy, a hydraulic masterpiece so advanced its memory was preserved for centuries. Their influence, however, extended far beyond their waterworks. The Sabaeans held a monopoly on two of the ancient world's most precious commodities, frankincense and myrrh. They did not merely harvest these aromatic resins, they perfected complex processing techniques that enhanced their quality and value. This mastery over a luxury trade placed them at the center of a commercial web that stretched from the palaces of Rome to the temples of India, amassing wealth that fueled their ambitious architectural projects. Their cities were filled with multi-story towers and grand temples constructed with such precise stonework that they have withstood millennia in a seismically active region. This architectural resilience speaks to a deep understanding of their environment. The legendary city of Yubar, long thought to be a myth mentioned in ancient texts as a city of pillars, was eventually rediscovered with the aid of satellite imagery. Excavations revealed not a fabled metropolis of sin, but a sophisticated trading hub with clear urban planning and formidable fortifications. The Sabaeans were also meticulous record keepers, inscribing their history and laws in the distinctive script of Old South Arabian. These texts document a complex society governed by detailed legal and administrative systems, the framework that managed a kingdom of immense wealth and influence. How did such a powerful and well-organized civilization eventually fade? Shifting trade routes that bypassed their land, combined with the eventual silting and failure of their great dam, gradually eroded the foundations of their desert empire. Their story is a powerful testament to how human ingenuity can create an oasis of civilization against all odds, and a reminder that even the greatest engineering marvels are tethered to the relentless flow of time and commerce. From this kingdom that mastered the desert, we ascend to a civilization that performed an equally breathtaking feat of adaptation, building its legacy in the thin, crisp air of the world's highest plateau. High on the Andean plateau, the Acapana Pyramid rises not as a simple monument, but as a hydraulic engine of stone. This massive, stepped structure was engineered with an intricate network of internal channels, a circulatory system that guided water from its summit through a complex mathematical dance of drainage. The flow was not random. It followed precise patterns that some researchers believe transformed the water itself, perhaps charging it with energy or meaning for ceremonial use far beyond simple irrigation. This mastery over liquid and stone is a signature of the Tiwanaku, a people whose stone-cutting technology defies easy explanation. They worked with andesite, a stone of immense hardness, yet they achieved surfaces so perfectly flat and angles so geometrically precise that the blocks fit together without a gap, as if machined by modern tools. The methods and instruments they used to accomplish this remain completely unidentified, leaving us to wonder at a lost art of fabrication. This mystery deepens at the Pumapunku complex, a place that feels less like a ruin and more like a site of deconstructed, otherworldly engineering. Here, stones are not merely carved, they are standardized. Identical, complex notches and protrusions are cut into massive blocks with a repeatable accuracy that suggests modular construction. Each piece was seemingly designed to interlock with others, a precursor to prefabrication that would not be out of place in a modern factory, yet it was executed on a monumental scale in an ancient world without the wheel. Their technological prowess extended to the forge, where artisans worked gold and copper alloys with a metallurgical skill that produced objects of both stunning beauty and formidable strength. This ingenuity was mirrored in their survival as they transformed the harsh altiplano into a breadbasket. They built vast raised field systems known as suka collas, which were more than just garden plots. These elevated earthworks, surrounded by canals of water, created warm, stable microclimates that protected crops from the high-altitude frost, allowing them to cultivate a bounty where conventional farming would utterly fail. For centuries, this civilization dominated the high plains, its influence radiating across the Andes. Then, around the year 1000 of the Common Era, their society entered a period of decline. The grand structures were gradually abandoned, and the sophisticated systems that sustained them fell silent. The reasons behind this downturn are still intensely investigated, with theories pointing to a prolonged period of climatic shift that may have disrupted their delicate agricultural and water management balance. Their legacy is a haunting question of how a society so advanced in its integration of architecture, hydraulics, and agriculture could see its dominance fade, leaving behind a landscape of silent, impossible stonework. This theme of a people shaping their world through monumental earthworks finds a powerful echo further north, where another culture transformed the very soil beneath their feet into a vast geometric signature. The great circles and octagons of the Hopewell culture rise from the Ohio landscape as earthworks of breathtaking scale. These were not simple mounds, but sprawling geometric formations covering hundreds of acres, their shapes laid out with a surveyor's precision that implies a deep understanding of geometry. To construct these colossal patterns required moving millions of cubic feet of earth in complex, coordinated community efforts. Yet the true genius of these structures is written in their alignment with the heavens. The walls of certain earthworks perfectly frame the moon's most extreme rising and setting points in its complex 18.6-year cycle, an astronomical achievement that demonstrates generations of meticulous celestial observation. How did a society without a written language as we know it encode such long-term cosmic knowledge into the very soil? This fascination with the cosmos was matched by a vast network of exchange known as the Hopewell Interaction Sphere. This was not an empire, but a shared cultural and trade network that connected communities across thousands of miles of eastern North America. Through these routes flowed a stunning variety of materials: obsidian from the distant Yellowstone region, shimmering mica from the Appalachian Mountains, and exotic seashells from the Gulf Coast. Along with these goods traveled ideas, artistic styles, and ceremonial practices, creating a cultural tapestry of remarkable diversity and sophistication. Their technological skill is perhaps most visible in their metalworking. The Hopewell artisans were master smiths of native copper, which they worked not with fire, but through an intricate process of cold hammering and annealing. They would painstakingly pound raw copper into thin sheets, then shape and fold it into intricate ear spools, headdresses, and animal effigies of stunning detail. This was a technology of precision and artistry, producing objects that held both social and spiritual significance. The ultimate purpose of their massive earthworks remains one of North America's great archaeological puzzles. Were they grand ceremonial centers where people gathered for rituals that connected them to the earth and sky? Could they have functioned as enormous astronomical observatories, their embankments serving as fixed sightlines for tracking celestial bodies? Perhaps they were all of these things, central places that unified a far-flung population through shared belief and monumental collective labor. Then, around the year 500 of the Common Era, the vibrant flow of goods and the construction of new earthworks ceased. The great circles fell into disuse. The leading theories point not to a sudden invasion or catastrophe, but to a gradual transformation, possibly linked to shifts in climate patterns that affected trade routes and social organization, leading people to reorganize their lives in new ways. The silent, geometric earthworks stand as a testament to a unique and brilliant chapter in ancient North America, a culture that connected a continent and mapped the cosmos onto the land itself. This legacy of uniting vast territories through shared vision and engineering finds a powerful parallel across the Atlantic, where an even older network of stone circles and tombs reveals a similar impulse to build in harmony with the universe. Scattered across the island of Sardinia stand the enigmatic Nurak stone towers that have defied time and gravity for over 3,000 years. Built entirely without mortar, these truncated cones of precisely fitted basalt blocks form one of the most dense and mysterious megalithic landscapes in the world. With an estimated 7,000 towers constructed across the island, the scale of this Bronze Age building project is almost beyond comprehension, a communal effort that reshaped the entire terrain. The true purpose of these sturdy structures remains a vibrant puzzle. Were they defensive strongholds, the fortified homes of clan leaders watching over the countryside? Could they have been sacred sites, their imposing forms serving as a focus for community rituals? Or is the answer written in the stars themselves, with certain towers positioned to mark celestial events, functioning as ancient observatories? This architectural genius extended deep underground to their sacred wells. These were not simple holes in the ground, but masterpieces of hydrological and astronomical engineering. Carved stone staircases descend into the earth, leading to crystal-clear water sources. The entire construction was often aligned so that on the solstices, the light of the sun or moon would pierce the darkness, illuminating the water's surface in a brilliant display that connected the elemental power of water with the cycles of the cosmos. Their approach to honoring those who came before is equally revealing. The so-called giants' tombs are collective resting places marked by massive, carved stone portals and arranged in a semicircular plan resembling a bull's horns. These monumental structures suggest a society with complex spiritual beliefs and a powerful sense of community that extended across generations. Recent archaeological finds add another layer to their story, uncovering bronze artifacts of stunning artistry. Intricate figurines and detailed model ships demonstrate a mastery of metallurgy that was traded and admired across the ancient Mediterranean, placing the Nuragic people at the heart of a wide network of exchange. How did a civilization capable of such widespread, coordinated construction and sophisticated technology leave behind no deciphered written records? The silent, brooding Nurak hold their secrets close, a testament to a people whose organizational and engineering prowess is etched into the very stone of their island home. This Mediterranean mystery finds a compelling parallel in the Far East, where an ancient kingdom forged its own lasting legacy in jade and bronze. The ground gave up a secret in Sichuan province that shattered our understanding of ancient China. In 1986, workers stumbled upon two sacrificial pits, and what they unearthed was not the familiar bronze ritual vessels of the Shang dynasty. Instead, they found a gallery of the surreal, a collection of artifacts so alien and sophisticated it seemed to belong to a different world entirely. This was the legacy of the Sangsingdui. Life-sized human figures cast in bronze stand with an almost otherworldly presence, their hands held in a gesture that modern observers cannot fully interpret. Towering over them are massive bronze masks, some with protruding pupils like telescopes, others with exaggerated, animal-like ears. These are not portraits from any known tradition. They hint at a mythology, a pantheon of gods and spirits that was entirely unique to this lost culture. The technology to create them is what truly staggers the mind. These objects were not made with simple piece mold techniques common elsewhere in China at the time. The Sangsingdui mastered the lost wax method, a far more complex process. Artisans would first sculpt a model in wax, cover it in clay to create a mold, and then fire it, melting the wax away and leaving a hollow cavity into which molten bronze was poured. This technique allowed for a level of detail and artistic freedom that was centuries ahead of its time, producing thin, elaborate surfaces and complex forms that should not have been possible. Their skill extended to other precious materials. They worked jade into ritual blades of impossible thinness and polished sheen, and they carved ivory into objects of breathtaking artistry, all pointing to a society with specialized craftspeople supported by a robust and wealthy social structure. Then, around 1,000 years before the Common Era, this vibrant, innovative civilization vanished. Their sophisticated settlement was abandoned, and their unique artistic tradition ceased overnight. The reason remains one of Asia's greatest enigmas. Was it a catastrophic natural event, a sudden shift in political power, or an internal social collapse that caused them to carefully bury their most sacred treasures and simply walk away from their home? The silence of the Sangsingdui pits is deafening, forcing us to rewrite the history of Chinese civilization and accept that an entire branch of advanced culture flourished in secrecy, only to disappear without a trace. As we ponder this Asian mystery, our journey takes us to the African continent, where another civilization achieved architectural wonders that defy the passage of time. A towering stone needle pierces the Ethiopian sky, a monument of such impossible scale it seems to defy gravity itself. The stelly field of Axum is a forest of these granite giants, each one carved from a single, flawless piece of stone. The grandest of them all, now fallen, stretches 110 feet long and weighs an estimated 520 tons. How did the Axumite engineers quarry, transport, and erect such a monolith without the use of pulleys or cranes on a plateau nearly 7,000 feet above sea level? The precision of their work is equally baffling, with each obelisk featuring intricate multi-story carvings that mimic the windows and doors of a grand palace, all executed with a geometric exactness that speaks of advanced drafting and stone-working skills we are only beginning to appreciate. This architectural prowess was the foundation of an empire that served as a vital bridge between the ancient worlds of Africa, Arabia, and the Mediterranean. The Axumites were economic innovators, minting their own sophisticated coinage in gold, silver, and bronze. These were not crude imitations, but beautifully struck coins that carried the portraits of their kings and symbols of their faith, a powerful statement of sovereignty that facilitated trade across vast distances and built a reputation for reliability and wealth. Their urban centers reflected this advanced thinking. The remains of multi-story palaces reveal complex foundations designed to withstand seismic activity, complete with advanced drainage systems that channeled rainwater and waste away from living quarters, ensuring cleanliness and public health for a dense urban population. Beneath the city lay another world of Axumite genius, a labyrinth of underground tombs and chambers carved directly into the bedrock. These were not simple burial pits, but complex, multi-room mausoleums with massive stone doors and corbelled roofs, demonstrating a mastery of subterranean engineering and a deep reverence for ceremonial practices. To sustain their capital city, they transformed the surrounding mountains. They sculpted the highlands with intricate terracing and irrigation networks that captured seasonal rains, preventing soil erosion and creating fertile land for agriculture on slopes that would otherwise be barren. This hydraulic engineering supported a thriving metropolitan heart in the clouds. The Axumite Empire stands as a powerful reminder of African innovation, a civilization that mastered economics, architecture, and agriculture to build a legacy that continues to inspire awe. From these highland innovators, our journey descends into the river valleys of Southeast Asia, where another civilization harnessed the power of water to forge its own enduring kingdom. The city of Caral rises from the Soup Valley, a complex of pyramids and plazas that is the oldest known center of civilization in the Americas. Its very existence rewrites history, for this was a thriving urban society while the Great Pyramids of Egypt were still being conceived. The architects of Cairo displayed a masterful understanding of their environment, constructing massive platform mounds and sunken circular courts that organized communal life with a clear, purposeful design. Their most ingenious innovation, however, lay in their response to the Earth's tremors. They engineered their pyramids to be earthquake-resistant by using a technology known as shikra. These were large, durable mesh bags woven from native grasses, which were filled with stones and then strategically placed inside the pyramidal structures. This created a flexible, shock-absorbing core that allowed the massive buildings to sway and settle during seismic activity instead of cracking apart. It was a brilliant, low-tech solution to a high-stakes problem, demonstrating a profound practical wisdom. The Great Pyramid of Cairo holds another acoustic secret. In its central atrium, the arrangement of the architecture and the materials used create a remarkable amplification effect. A person speaking at a normal volume can be heard with perfect clarity across a surprisingly large distance, while other sounds seem to be muted or channeled in specific ways. This was unlikely an accident. It suggests the builders possessed a sophisticated, if intuitive, grasp of sound physics, perhaps designing this space to enhance the power of a leader's voice or to create an otherworldly atmosphere for important ceremonies. To sustain their population, they performed a miracle of hydraulics, engineering sophisticated irrigation canals that diverted water from the Soup River. They transformed arid desert valleys into lush, productive farmland, growing a variety of crops that supported a non-migratory, complex society. Perhaps most tantalizing of all is the evidence of their intellectual advancements. Archaeologists have found bundles of knotted strings, a clear precursor to the Inca quipu. This suggests that the Cairo Soup people may have developed a system for recording information thousands of years before anyone previously thought possible in the region. Their entire civilization, flourishing over 4,600 years ago, forces us to ask a fundamental question. Why did urban life, with all its hallmarks of advanced social organization and technology, begin here in this remote Peruvian valley and at such an impossibly early date? The silent, sun-baked ruins of Cairo challenge every conventional theory about the cradle of civilization in the New World. From these foundational origins in South America, our exploration carries us across the vast Pacific to a culture that devised its own unique and brilliant technologies for survival on a remote island chain. Their canoes were not just boats but floating arcs of civilization, masterpieces of maritime engineering that conquered the greatest wilderness on Earth, the open Pacific. The Lapita people embarked on voyages of staggering ambition, navigating thousands of miles of trackless ocean to discover and settle islands scattered like stars across the water. They accomplished this without compasses or charts, relying instead on a profound, generational knowledge of the sea. They read the subtle patterns of ocean swells, the flight paths of migratory birds, and the position of stars to guide their twin-hulled vessels, laden with everything needed to start a new life, from planting crops to breeding animals. This was not a single journey, but a sustained, deliberate expansion across millennia, a testament to their unparalleled courage and navigational genius. Their cultural signature is etched into the clay of their distinctive pottery. Each vessel was decorated using a technique called dentate stamping, where artisans used toothed implements to press intricate geometric patterns into the clay before firing. These were not random designs, but a complex visual language of faces, bands, and motifs that connected communities across vast oceanic distances. Finding a shard of this pottery on a remote island is like finding a page from a shared storybook, a tangible link in a network that spanned half the Pacific. Once they made landfall, their ingenuity shifted from exploration to creation. They developed sophisticated fishing techniques, crafting composite fishhooks from pearl shell and developing angling methods that sustainably harvested the rich ocean life. On land, they transformed the islands, introducing a suite of domesticated plants and animals, and developing agricultural systems tailored to each new environment, from atoll islets to volcanic high islands. Their settlement patterns reveal an advanced ecological understanding, as they consistently chose locations with access to diverse resources, ensuring long-term survival through careful management of forests, reefs, and fresh water. The greatest enduring mystery is their method of wayfinding. How did they hold a course for weeks on end, confident they would find an island that was nothing more than a speck on the horizon? Modern researchers and traditional navigators are rediscovering these ancient skills, proving that the Lapita and their descendants possessed a cognitive map of the ocean that we are only beginning to appreciate. Their legacy is not merely in the artifacts they left behind, but in the very people of the Pacific, whose ancestry and languages are a living monument to this most daring chapter of human exploration. From the vast blue expanse of the ocean, our focus shifts to a civilization that performed an equally breathtaking feat of adaptation, building thriving, dense cities in the heart of a different kind of wilderness, the arid desert. Towering mud brick skyscrapers rise from the Yemeni desert like a mirage of a modern metropolis, but these ancient high rises of Shibam have stood for centuries. Constructed from sun-dried earth, their durability is a testament to a lost science of material engineering. The builders understood their environment intimately, creating a unique architectural form that provided shade, maximized space within a fortified wall, and withstood the test of time through ingenious design and consistent maintenance. This urban ingenuity was sustained by a mastery of the arid landscape itself. The Himyarites perfected the art of terrace farming, sculpting entire mountainsides into a cascading series of fertile steppes that captured every precious drop of rainwater. They did not merely inherit the legendary Marab Dam from their Sabaean predecessors, they became its dedicated custodians, continuously improving its sluice gates and canal networks, demonstrating a commitment to technological progress that spanned generations. This hydraulic brilliance turned the desert into a breadbasket, fueling the kingdom's wealth. Their prosperity was meticulously recorded in a script we can read, but whose full story we are still piecing together. Inscriptions in Old South Arabian detail complex legal codes governing trade, water rights, and social conduct, revealing the sophisticated administrative framework that managed this powerful state. Their economic reach was vast, with archaeological finds uncovering workshops where artisans produced exquisite metalwork and intricate jewelry, goods that were traded from the markets of the Roman Empire to the ports of India. A profound shift in the kingdom's identity occurred in the 4th century, when the ruling class embraced Judaism, making Himyar a unique Jewish kingdom in the heart of Arabia. This was not merely a change in royal preference, but a deep cultural and political realignment that influenced international relations and internal law, setting the kingdom apart in the historical landscape of the region. From this civilization that built its legacy in sun-baked clay and managed water with relentless ingenuity, we now journey to a people who performed a similar miracle of survival, carving their own intricate world within the dense, demanding rainforest. Across the Mississippi River, the great city of Cahokia rose as a testament to North American urban genius. This was not a scattered village, but a meticulously planned metropolis, home to tens of thousands of people, its skyline dominated by enormous earthen mounds. The centerpiece, Monk's Mound, is a colossal feat of engineering, its base covering 14 acres and its summit towering 100 feet above the surrounding plains. Building this pyramid of earth was a monumental undertaking, requiring the coordinated labor of generations to move over 55 million cubic feet of soil, all without the wheel or beast of burden. The placement of these mounds was no accident. They were arranged in complex geometric patterns and precise alignments with the sun, forming a vast urban calendar that governed the city's ceremonial and agricultural life. This celestial connection was made explicit at Woodhenge, a great circle of towering cedar posts that functioned as a solar observatory. On the equinoxes, the rising sun would align perfectly with specific posts, marking the turning of the seasons with an accuracy that guided planting, harvest, and sacred rituals. To sustain such a dense population, the people of Cahokia engineered a sophisticated water management system with drains and reservoirs that controlled flooding and provided for the community's needs. Their agricultural technology was equally advanced, built upon the Three Sisters corn, beans, and squash, which they cultivated in carefully developed, symbiotic varieties that enriched the soil and provided a complete nutritional foundation. This flourishing society, however, did not last. By the 14th century, the great city was largely abandoned. The reasons remain a subject of study, with research suggesting a combination of environmental pressures, including periods of challenging climate patterns that may have strained their resources, leading to a gradual social reorganization as people moved to new areas. The silent mounds of Cahokia stand as a powerful reminder of the sophisticated civilizations that shaped ancient North America. From these river valley architects, our journey takes us across the Pacific to the monsoon-soaked landscapes of Southeast Asia. The ocean was their empire, and their cities were ports that pulsed with the rhythm of global trade. The Srivijaya Empire did not just rule land, it mastered the sea lanes of Southeast Asia for over 5 centuries, building a thalassocracy whose influence stretched from the Malay Peninsula to the distant shores of India and China. Their power was built on a fleet of advanced vessels, ships engineered not for battle alone, but for endurance. These were long-distance carriers of commerce and culture, their hulls and sails designed to harness the monsoon winds, crossing vast stretches of open ocean to connect the great markets of the ancient world. This naval technology was the engine of their wealth, allowing them to command the strategic Strait of Malacca, the vital funnel through which the spice trade, silks, and precious goods had to flow. Controlling this maritime choke point did not require just a powerful navy, but an immense diplomatic and administrative intelligence. They managed a complex web of alliances and trade agreements, ensuring safe passage for merchants and collecting tariffs that built a legendary fortune, all without leaving behind the stone palaces and monuments common to other empires. This very lack of grand stone ruins points to one of Southeast Asia's most enduring archaeological puzzles. The empire's capital city, a place historical texts describe as a bustling, wealthy harbor, has never been definitively located. It is a ghost metropolis, its wooden structures and stilted palaces long since reclaimed by the swampy, tropical soil of Sumatra, leaving almost no trace for modern excavators to find. At the heart of this floating empire was a center of learning that shone like a beacon across the Buddhist world. The Srivijayan University attracted pilgrims and scholars from as far away as China and India, becoming a renowned hub for spiritual and intellectual exchange. Monks gathered to study sacred texts and debate philosophy, yet the physical legacy of this great institution is just as elusive as the capital itself, the humid climate having dissolved wood, paper, and cloth into the earth. Then, around the 13th century, this formidable maritime power simply vanishes from historical records. Did shifting trade routes, the rise of rival states, or perhaps a catastrophic natural event cause their sophisticated network to unravel? The silence is profound, leaving us to wonder how a society so advanced in naval engineering, international diplomacy, and spiritual scholarship could fade so completely from view, its secrets resting beneath the waterlogged soil and the shifting seas it once called home. This story of a civilization defined by its relationship with water finds a striking parallel in a very different environment, where another culture learned to build not with wood, but with the very earth beneath their feet, creating architectural forms that seem to defy the desert sun. The Atlantean figures of Chala stand guard over a silent city, their stone gaze fixed on a horizon they once dominated. These colossal warrior columns, each carved from a single piece of basalt, did more than just hold up a temple roof. They represented a pinnacle of Mesoamerican stone working. The Toltec capital was a marvel of urban design, its wide plazas and colonnaded halls creating a sense of order and grandeur that would become the blueprint for later civilizations, including the mighty Aztecs. Yet among their ruins, another figure captures the modern imagination even more, the enigmatic Chakmul. This reclining stone statue, holding a bowl or plate upon its stomach, has been found at sites across the region. Its purpose remains one of Mesoamerica's enduring puzzles. Was it an altar for offerings, a symbolic representation of a fallen warrior, or a conduit for communication with the gods? The silence of these sculptures is a testament to a complex spiritual world we are still striving to understand. Their technological prowess extended beyond stone to the forge. While they did not have access to the wide range of metals known in the Old World, the Toltecs mastered the art of working with gold and copper, creating intricate artifacts through advanced techniques like lost wax casting and alloying. This skill produced objects of both personal adornment and deep ceremonial significance. The shadow of their greatest cultural contribution looms large over their history, the legendary feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl. More than a deity, this figure was associated with a priesthood that was said to possess profound knowledge, from the arts of civilization to calendrical science and craftsmanship. The technological achievements at Chala are often linked to this cultural hero, inspiring ongoing research into how myth and innovation were intertwined in Toltec society. Then, around the middle of the 12th century, their vibrant capital was abandoned. The great halls fell silent, and the warrior columns were left to face the elements alone. The reasons for this decline are unclear, with theories pointing to a combination of factors including prolonged periods of environmental strain that may have led to social unrest and conflict. The Toltec legacy, therefore, is a dual one, a story of brilliant architectural and artistic achievement whose final chapter was written in mystery. This theme of a meticulously planned city leaving behind profound questions finds a powerful parallel across the world, where an even older civilization engineered its streets with a foresight that feels almost modern. The Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro stands as a testament to a society that understood water's power in both practical and spiritual life. This vast, watertight pool, lined with precisely fitted bricks and sealed with tar, was not merely a reservoir, it was a centerpiece of the city, hinting at complex rituals that intertwined community well-being with a reverence for purity. Their mastery over water extended far beyond this single structure, evolving into a city-wide network of wells, drainage channels, and bathrooms in private homes, a level of urban sanitation that would not be seen again for millennia. This engineering genius was matched by their economic acumen. Across the entire civilization, from the largest cities to the smallest towns, a single system of standardized weights and measures governed trade. A merchant in one settlement could use the same cubical stone weights as a partner hundreds of miles away, confident in the fairness of an exchange. This points to a remarkable level of administrative cohesion, a shared mathematical language that facilitated a vast economic network. Their artistic legacy further reveals a people of profound sophistication. Intricately carved steatite seals depict animals with a vibrant realism, while tiny, delicately molded terracotta figurines speak to a rich cultural life. The symbols on these seals, however, present the civilization's most enduring enigma. These brief inscriptions, found on countless artifacts, have resisted all attempts at translation. Some linguists propose they represent an early form of a Dravidian language, a theory that, if proven, would connect this ancient culture to the deep roots of the Indian subcontinent. Yet, for all their brilliance, the vibrant urban heart of this civilization began to fade around 1900 years before the Common Era. The meticulously planned cities were gradually abandoned. The reasons for this decline remain one of history's great quiet mysteries, with research suggesting a slow transformation rather than a single catastrophe. Shifting river courses that sustained their agriculture, combined with periods of climatic variation, may have prompted a gradual migration away from the great cities as people adapted to new environmental realities. Recent discoveries continue to reshape our understanding, revealing settlements far beyond the core area, suggesting their influence was even more extensive than we once believed. This was not a sudden collapse but a slow turning of the page, a transition that saw a magnificent urban experiment give way to new ways of life, leaving behind a legacy of silent, orderly streets and unanswered questions etched in stone. From the sprawling river plains of the Indus, our final exploration ascends to a civilization that carved its own impossible dream from the world's highest and most challenging plateau. Perched atop a flattened mountain in the heart of Oaxaca, the city of Monte Albán was an architectural declaration of human ambition. This was not a city that grew organically, but one that was deliberately planned and engineered on a grand scale, its main plaza stretching for over 1,000 feet and flanked by monumental platforms and temples. The Zapotec people transformed a rugged mountaintop into a thriving metropolis that supported tens of thousands, a feat of urban planning that required leveling the very peak to create a stable foundation for their grand vision. Their connection to the cosmos was etched into the city's layout, with buildings precisely aligned to celestial events like the zenith passage of the sun, a moment when shadows vanish and the day holds its breath. This precise astronomical knowledge was not just ceremonial, it was woven into the fabric of their society, guiding the cycles of agriculture and governance. Yet, for all their architectural genius, their voice reaches us only in fragments. The Zapotec developed one of the earliest writing systems in the Americas, a complex script of glyphs and symbols that adorns their stone monuments. While scholars can decipher dates and names of rulers, the full narrative of their history, their myths, and their laws remains locked within these enigmatic carvings, a story waiting to be fully told. Among their most puzzling artifacts are the danzantes, a collection of stone slabs depicting human figures in twisted, almost pained contortions. Early archaeologists mistakenly believed they represented dancers, hence the name, but the prevailing theory now suggests they may commemorate captured leaders from rival communities, their poses marking a moment of profound transition. Their meaning, however, continues to be debated, standing as one of Mesoamerica's most ancient and mysterious artistic traditions. To feed their mountaintop capital, the Zapotec performed a miracle of agricultural engineering. They sculpted the steep slopes of the surrounding valleys with intricate terrace systems, preventing soil erosion and creating flat, fertile plots. This was supported by a network of canals and small dams that captured seasonal rainwater, allowing them to cultivate the challenging mountainous terrain with an efficiency that sustained their urban population for centuries. Inside the tombs that honeycomb the site, a vibrant spiritual world comes to life. Elaborate murals painted in rich pigments depict processions of elite individuals and deities, while the offerings found within, from finely carved jade to intricate urns, speak to a belief in an afterlife and demonstrate an artistic skill that rivaled any in the ancient world. Their intellectual legacy is perhaps their most enduring gift. The Zapotec developed sophisticated calendar systems and mathematical concepts, including the use of a bar and dot system for numerals and a deep understanding of the cyclical nature of time. These innovations would become foundational, profoundly influencing every major culture that followed in Mesoamerica, from the Maya to the Aztecs. The silent, awe-inspiring grandeur of Monte Albán leaves us with a final, resonant question, one that connects all 25 of the civilizations we have explored. What is the common thread that runs through these disparate societies, from the Indus Valley to the high Andes, from Rapa Nui to the Libyan desert? They all possessed a spark of brilliant adaptation, a unique form of intelligence that allowed them to solve the specific, immense challenges of their environment with technology that still gives us pause. They moved mountains of stone, made the desert bloom, built cities in the clouds, and mapped the cosmos, all with a wisdom that feels both ancient and strangely advanced. Their greatest lesson may be that technological progress is not a single, linear path, but a diverse tapestry of human ingenuity, a reminder that true advancement is measured not by the complexity of our tools, but by the depth of our understanding of the world around us. These echoes across time and distance are too striking to ignore. From the deserts of Libya to the mountains of Peru, ancient engineers repeatedly arrived at the same brilliant solutions, as if following a hidden blueprint of human ingenuity. They looked to the sky and saw not random stars, but a cosmic clock, embedding its rhythms into stone calendars and temple alignments from the Maltese equinox to the Chaco lunar cycle. This shared celestial language speaks to a universal human drive to find order and meaning in the universe, a quest that transcended any single culture or continent. Their material science reveals a similar pattern of deep, localized intelligence. The Indus Valley's standardized brick sizes and the Inca's earthquake-resistant polygonal walls, though separated by oceans and millennia, both represent a profound mastery of available resources, turning simple earth and stone into technologies of enduring strength. This independent convergence of ideas points to something fundamental about the human mind when confronted with a challenge. Faced with the need for water, societies from the Garamantes to the Khmer engineered vast hydraulic networks. Confronted by the need to build tall, they developed corbelled arches and flexible foundations. The recurring theme is one of adaptation, a brilliant, context-specific problem-solving that feels less like coincidence and more like a natural law of societal development. Yet, these stories also carry a sobering, parallel narrative. The declines of so many of these civilizations often intertwine with periods of environmental strain, from the shifting monsoons that may have affected the Indus Valley to the prolonged droughts that challenged the ancestral pueblones of Chaco Canyon. Their histories are not just tales of achievement, but also complex lessons in the delicate balance between innovation and sustainability, between shaping an environment and depending upon it. These common threads weave a larger tapestry, suggesting that human progress may follow predictable patterns of discovery when basic needs for organization, resource management, and cosmic understanding must be met. Recognizing these patterns does not diminish the uniqueness of each culture, but rather elevates our appreciation for a shared, global heritage of intellect and resilience. It forces us to ask what these ancient echoes might be telling us about our own path forward. The silent stones of these ancient worlds are not just relics, they are active classrooms. The same Inca polygonal walls that danced through earthquakes are now studied by engineers designing resilient buildings in seismic zones, while the Nabatean network of cisterns and channels offers a masterclass in desert water harvesting for communities facing unprecedented drought. This is not merely academic, it is a practical dialogue with the past where ancestral ingenuity provides a toolkit for our climate-vulnerable present. Our ability to continue this conversation is accelerating. Archaeologists are no longer limited to trowels and brushes. They now peer through dense jungle canopies with LiDAR lasers and scan vast deserts from orbit, revealing the ghostly outlines of cities and roadways we never knew existed. Each new discovery promises to unearth another chapter in this global story of innovation. Perhaps the most tantalizing key to unlocking their full intellectual legacy lies in the undeciphered scripts. The Meroitic, the Rongorongo, the Indus symbols, these could be more than just administrative lists. They might hold sophisticated scientific observations, complex philosophical ideas, or detailed environmental records, a wealth of knowledge waiting to be rediscovered and to potentially enrich our own understanding of the world. This collective legacy fundamentally challenges a narrow, Eurocentric view of history's trajectory. It proves that technological brilliance is not the birthright of any single culture, but a universal human capacity that flourishes in deserts, on mountains, and across oceans, wherever necessity sparks the fire of invention. As we confront the limitations of our own industrial models, the sustainable practices of these societies, from the raised fields of the Tiwanaku to the forest management of the Rapa Nui, offer compelling alternative visions for living in balance with our environment. Our journey through these 25 mysteries ultimately expands our definition of progress itself. It invites us to look forward with a sense of profound anticipation, knowing that the next great discovery, whether from a newly translated tablet or a laser scan from the sky, could once again reshape everything we thought we knew about human potential. Our journey through these 25 civilizations reveals a profound tapestry of human ingenuity, stretching across continents and millennia. Each society developed its own brilliant solutions to universal human challenges, from securing clean water to building shelter that could withstand the elements. The precise polygonal stonework of the Inca, designed to dance through earthquakes, and the vast hydraulic networks of the Nabateans, which made the desert bloom, are not isolated curiosities. They are powerful demonstrations that sophisticated innovation flourished in the most diverse environments, long before what we term the modern era. These are not primitive attempts, but fully realized technologies born from a deep, localized understanding of the world. The enduring mysteries surrounding their methods and their sudden silence remind us how vast the archives of our shared human past truly are, and how much remains waiting to be rediscovered. These lost civilizations fundamentally challenge our narrow definitions of technological advancement. They compel us to appreciate the sophisticated knowledge systems that developed entirely outside of Western traditions, from the astronomical calendars of Chaco Canyon to the maritime navigation of the Lapita people. This is not a single story of progress, but a global chorus of different kinds of intelligence. Today, as archaeologists employ lasers to see through dense jungle canopies and satellites to map buried cities, we stand on the brink of revolutionary new understandings. Each scan, each translated symbol, has the potential to rewrite a chapter of our history. The legacy of these peoples lives on not just in their silent, monumental ruins, but in the vital questions they force us to ask about our own path. Their stories of adaptation, and in some cases of departure, invite us to consider the balance between innovation and sustainability. They encourage us to look at both the past and our future with a sense of wonder and profound humility. recognizing that the first step toward true knowledge is often to acknowledge just how much we have yet to learn.